Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media, @JesterDooms. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go there, get yourself an apocalyptic apparel t-shirt. It's for a great cause because it helps support the show. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. I hope all of you are doing fantastic this morning. I'm over here drinking the hibiscus tea, hoping that'll help regulate the blood pressure. Blood pressure is very important, you know. If it's getting fucked up, you're getting fucked up. So we can't have the blood pressure be too fucked up. Anyway, it's been a very productive in an odd way week. And it's, you know, it's talking about, in previous episodes this week about how we have a change coming in life. And it's like, it already feels like it's happening, man. It's shaping up in such a unique way that just feels right and feels good. And it's just like the weight of everything has been lifted. Okay. It's just, it's like this big, huge 100-pound weight that we've just been carrying around on our backs that we feel like we've been being crushed by is lifted. And it's an absolutely fantastic feeling, you know. Now, every good ending usually starts at some point in your life with a very shitty beginning. That's what makes the ending so good. So if you're the star in your own movie or your own show or something of the sort, you want to have a victory at the end and closing. You know, we want the heroes to win. We want good to triumph over evil. That's what we want. And in this instance, in our current existence, it was one of those, like, you know, uphill battle struggles. And then now it's like we're coming out on the other side of the mountain victorious. It's just a very good feeling. So, I have to give you guys a bit of information. So, because of everything that's transpiring, there may or may not be a show for Friday. May or may not be. It's hard to tell. I'm not 100% certain yet. We will see. The other thing is, on Tuesday, I have a friend flying in town, and I don't know what that's going to do as far as being able to record the show, how many episodes are going to be put out, things like that. So do bear in mind, you might get some reruns next week. Now, herein lies the issue with that. My friend that is coming in town to visit is going to be staying for a while because he's not sure when he's going back. He could be here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, maybe never leave. We don't know. So you're going to have to just kind of weather the storm with us, so to speak, and just kind of go through this rigmarole. But yeah, outside of that, we're doing good. You know, everything is a bliss right now on the homestead. You know, I mean, there's nothing. I'm going to get into some homestead stuff. Don't you worry, because we haven't touched on the homestead stuff in a while. But anyway, I hope your morning is going fantastic. You're one more day closer to the weekend, right? And that's what it's all about, is it not? It's very interesting because the listeners do not typically reach out unless they have grievances. So if you're a listener of the show, man, that's fucking some of these comment sections. If you're a listener of the show and you enjoy it, that's fantastic. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a good rating wherever it is you listen to the show. And I say this because it's typically the ones that are quiet that don't listen to the, that are new listeners. Okay, let me rephrase this. The ones that have listened for a while that like the show, that are good listeners, are typically quiet and don't give much feedback. They just continue to listen. The new listeners that come in that don't like the show and they want to get shitty about it, they're the ones that do all the talking in the comment sections or whatever. Like, you've wronged them. Like, and it's almost funny to me that people take the time out of their day to leave like a negative review or a shitty comment. It's like, dude, you clicked on my fucking show and you came to listen to me. And if you didn't like what you hear, that's cool. There's fucking thousands of other podcasts to choose from. The internet radio world's plenty of fish in the fucking sea, man. So if I'm not giving your ear holes what the fuck they want, you can go somewhere else and have somebody else, do things to your ear holes. That's okay. Before you leave, though, I'll be more than happy to spit in them for you. Yeah. And everybody's an expert. Everybody has their own opinions. So it's like really funny to me when these people get in the comment sections and they start talking shit. And it's like, dude, you don't know. And it's like, I think it's very entertaining to go through and read these because it's like, man, what the fuck, what bug crawled up this motherfucker's ass to where he felt the need to be so upset? Like, what the fuck is going on in your daily existence to where you're letting me, who doesn't fucking matter at all in your daily existence, they came through the speakers on your fucking car. Like, did you pull over on the side of the road because you were so upset with me and you felt you had to write a fucking review or something? Like, is that what happened? God, man, geez, fucking people. Anyway, if you're not catching all the new episodes of the It's Doomsday podcast, make sure to go check out the It's Doomsday podcast as well. It's very important to us. And if you're trying to find these things, you're trying to get updates on stuff, guys, all you really got to do is go to the website, www.gesturesvoice.com. Go there, and it's everything me related, all the social medias, all of the podcast episodes, everything is there. You can go right to the website and you can check it out, okay? And then also make sure to check out all the shows on the WSN Epic Strategies Network that also hosts our show, so go check them out as well. Lots of good shows, lots of good music, okay? We'll be right back after these messages.
Did you know that the Doom Daily Show is now streaming on the Epic Strategies Network? Go to epicstrategiesnetwork.com and check out all the amazing podcasts. Don't forget, they stream music too. That website again is epicstrategiesnetwork.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Send us an email. Why not? Anyway, so I wanted to get into the homestead stuff. Okay, so we have, I don't want to say a debacle, but we've got, some things going on the homestead here, and it's just something I feel that I need to vent about because that's part of what the show is. If you don't like it, you can get out. So yesterday, I got a quote from a concrete contractor. Now, we have changed the initial size concrete pad we were pouring for our steel building. We were initially going to do a 30 by 30 steel building. However, when we finally got our grading done, we realized, well, shit, we don't really have enough room here without having to build up higher again. So it's like, maybe we don't do that. So we called into the building company, and they did not start building the building yet. We've only had a deposit down on it, so they did not start the building process. So we're still able to change sizes and things. So we decided to go with a 24 by 40. And I got my first concrete quote for this project yesterday. Okay. And the gentleman came out. He was very nice. He explained to me the entire process of how they do things and how they differ from other companies, gave me the whole sales pitch. Okay, now I'm not somebody that knows a lot about concrete work, so if somebody's coming to my door that does this, I'm assuming they're the expert and they know everything, because my knowledge of concrete is very minimal. It gets hard. It's dry. You add water, you mix it, it gets hard. If you put it in a form, it'll take the shape of those things. If you want it to be stronger, you add some steel, right? The bigger it is, the more weight it could support, right? So that's my knowledge of concrete. That's it in a nutshell. Okay. So I don't really understand, I understand the difference in, different PSI concrete, like a 3,500 or, 4,000 PSI concrete. I don't know what the variations are. I don't know if they make like a 500 or like a 1,000. All I ever hear is people talk about, oh yeah, that's 3,500 PSI concrete, or oh, that's 4,000 PSI concrete. And then I know that there's standard thicknesses as far as like, maybe you do, your pad for this garage that I should be doing is 4-inch, but I want to go a little bit bigger. I'd like to go 6-inch for longevity. It's what I'd like to do. So anyway, I had this guy give me this quote, and he came back, and being that I already kind of knew what I wanted size-wise, and I had a kind of an understanding of some things, I figured my estimate was going to be right around the neighborhood of $15,000. $15,000. Okay? Give or take a little bit. So maybe like 14, 14.5, maybe 15, 15.5, maybe 16. That's the neighborhood I was expecting to be around. Okay, this guy came in. with a quote of just over 18,000. All right, just over 18. And that's with a 6-inch pad, 4,000 PSI concrete, fiber reinforced, a 1-foot edge on 3 sides, and then a 2-foot edge on the other side to compensate for slope of the hillside. That's what he estimated. And it's all one big monolithic pour with about 7 plumbing, stub outs coming up out of the concrete. I honestly think his price is pretty on point. I don't think it's too high at all. I think it's probably right where we need to be for this project. Okay. Now, would I like it to be cheaper? Absolutely. Do I want to hunt and fuck with contractors for 6 months to try to get this figured out? No, not really. So at the end of the day, my wife's like, I don't know. I think we should get more estimates. And I'm like, that's fine. You can. We can get more estimates. It's fine. But in all honesty, I don't think we're going to find much better pricing. We have a guy that could do it relatively cheap. And the reason why I'm saying you're not going to find much better, better prices is specifically because concrete is its set price from the plant. Okay. And the plants only typically give discounts if guys are like buying concrete fucking daily, shit tons, thousands daily. They might start cutting little breaks here and there. But at the end of the day, their job is to sell concrete. So they don't give people deals if they buy more. Okay. It's not a situation of, I've ordered, 100 tons of concrete from you guys. I figured I'd start getting a break soon. Like, no, it's their job to sell concrete. So they're not going to cut you a break. Like, that's how they make their money. That's how they pay their employees. That is their business. If you're not getting it from them, you're going to get it somewhere else. And it's all priced pretty standard across the board. So you're not going to go over to this guy over here and save a shit ton of money versus going to this guy over here. You might save a little bit here and there, but it's not going to be much. So with that being said, being that the concrete companies are pretty standard priced, you're going to have contractors be pretty standard priced. They should be anyway. You're going to have one every once in a while that's either overestimating or underestimating. Like you'll have guys that come in really weird, or you have these guys that just shoot for the moon. Like, hey, I need 10 more grand to pay off my truck and I could charge 10 grand for this job, make 10 grand profit, go home, pay the truck off. So, and really it was maybe a $7,000 job. So you do have some weird shit like that happens from time to time. Now, at this current juncture with this concrete pad, I mean, I'm all about like, let's shop around and get the best deal, but I'm also at this internal struggle with, I don't want to shop for 6 months. I want to get this fucking pad done. I want to get my plumbing put in. I want to get the fucking pad done. And I want to get the fucking building up. Okay. It's that simple. I don't want to be monkeying around with people for 6 months. Oh, this guy came in at this guy came in at that, this guy was high, this guy was low, this guy didn't really seem to know what he was talking about. I've wasted so much time here on the homestead meeting with contractors that are just not getting the work done for a reasonable price. Okay. And when, everybody has a different definition of like a reasonable price, but I'll tell you what, man, at the end of the day, whenever you're having guys come out giving you $10,000 differences in prices, it's like, why is this guy 10 grand more and this guy's 10 grand less? Why is this guy right in the middle? What the fuck is actually happening here? And then you start asking contractors for itemized breakdowns and you can't get them. It's a big problem. And that's something that you'll go through in doing this process unless you're doing all the work yourself. So yeah. Anyway, Producer Scooter, would you take us to break, please? We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, Producer Scooter here. First off, thank you for downloading and participating in the wide world of Jester Doom. Please be sure to check out JestersVoice.com website. Everything you want to know is located on JestersVoice.com. If you're looking for salacious details, it's on JestersVoice.com. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and even with all your enemies. And now, back to the musings of Jester Doom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. If you haven't already, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Go to the website, www.jestersvoice.com. And check me out there. So this isn't going to be a news episode tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you're aware, it's not going to be. I feel that I needed to come on here and go through one of my homestead rants, go through one of my venting things, because every once in a while I just need to do that on this show. Okay. But there is something I did want to get into, and it was, the Tyler Robinson thing. And I don't know where the article is. I don't have it. I had it and now it's fucking gone, but whatever. I had the link saved for it and everything. I was going to pull it up and read it a little bit, but it's not here. So I'm just going to go right off the rip and kind of bitch a little bit. So, the bitch of this is very simple. If you don't know who Tyler Robinson is, he is the man who allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk. Okay. And he's going into trial very shortly. It's all getting ready to start. Now, there was a delay in getting the ball rolling on this, and the delay, and I believe it was for the preliminary hearing, the delay on this was because they wanted cameras to be allowed in the courtroom. So it was delayed because of that, is my understanding. Okay. Now, in regards to that, you have to ask yourself why. Why do they want cameras in the courtroom? What are they wanting to hide from you? Is what you have to ask yourself. Why do they want to pollute the TV with this? Because the Charlie Kirk assassination took over every major news media outlet for about 2 weeks, and then boom, gone. And then Erica Kirk has become this rising star that nobody, she became like this rising star that nobody really gives a shit about, okay? And is seeming to, I don't want to say steal the limelight. That's not what I'm looking for. She just so happens to be involved in a lot of things. We'll put it that way, I guess is a good way to put it. Now, we all know it was very simple. She was, she has to fill the shoes of her husband there at Turning Point USA, which is fine. Okay. That was the plan. That's how it was supposed to be. All right. But she's not Charlie Kirk, and she's not going to fill his shoes. Like, no one's filling his shoes, man. It's going to be years before we see another person like Charlie Kirk, in my opinion. So this came on like a fucking tsunami with everything that was taking place in the media. And then it fell off. Okay. Like these things always do. But like I previously stated, the news media outlets it was polluted with this. And we were covering it for a little while on the show. And I said, listen, until we get some information about Robinson and we really start getting into this, or they start going to trial, like we'll start getting back into it on the show. And they are now, starting the process and whatnot. So we're getting ready. We're going to know there's some Charlie Kirk stuff coming. Know there's some Erica Kirk stuff coming, and know that there is some Tyler Robinson stuff coming. These things are on the way. You're going to be hearing about them in future episodes as this criminal trial rolls on. But I just thought it's funny that you don't want to proceed and move forward without having cameras in the courtroom, because you obviously want this to be fucking televised. You obviously want this out there on the internet for people to see. You obviously want this to do one of three things. Thing one, maybe you just want something to put in the news to boost your ratings because, it's a popular case and, it's going to be a crazy trial probably, and everybody knows about Charlie Kirk. So maybe you just want to boost your ratings. Maybe. Thing two, maybe, just maybe, there's something else going on that they don't want us to be seeing in the background. So this being on the front of everything of the media, like being on the front page of all the newspapers and taking the front of all the media headlines, maybe that's what you want. Okay, maybe you want that to happen so that nobody's seeing what's going on in the background, so to speak. Like, look over here so you don't look over here, kind of like a magic trick. Now, then there's the third thing. And this is the thing that I think is most likely, and it's the most diabolical in my opinion. What if they want this to be televised to outrage Americans and further separate the left from the right? Because if you were a Charlie Kirk supporter, you were more than likely a Republican. You were more than likely a white Christian if you supported Charlie Kirk. Okay? And that's fine. But if you're not, and you're somebody that's happy that he was assassinated, you're probably on the left side. Okay? You may be you may have different sexual preferences than I do if you're a male. Okay? You may not be a religious person. Maybe, So, at the end of the day here, televising this might be to help further separation and divide of the American people. Give us something to argue about amongst ourselves, because think about it like this. We're all pissed off right now about the price of gas. We're all pissed off about the economy. We're all pissed off about, Notice ICE hasn't been a big thing that people have been bitching about lately. That's kind of been interesting, I thought. But yeah, anyway, at the end of the day here, it's just, maybe this is something they could throw up to further the separation and divide of the American people, which, I'll tell you what, I'm really surprised things haven't gotten worse in regards to this, separation and civil happenings amongst citizens, because I thought the ICE thing was going to do it. I thought if anything was going to bring Americans back to fighting against each other and have a civil war kind of breakout thing, I thought it was going to be the ICE stuff, but it didn't happen. Okay. And I don't want to see that happen, but it's really hard for my brain to process the idea of this many Americans hate each other and nobody has done anything about it yet. That's kind of a scary thing. It's like watching the old cartoons when the cartoon character has a fever and you keep watching the temperature go up on the little mercury thermometer, and then eventually the glass bulb at the end swells up, it explodes. Yeah, that's like every time I see something going on in the media where there's further separation and divided, I'm just watching that little thermometer from those cartoons go, and I'm just waiting for the day that it explodes and we are, Americans that are at each other's throats in the street. That's what I'm hoping to God doesn't happen, but I can see it happening. Hibiscus and honey tea, iced tea. It's very good. It's very, very good. I'm not going to sit here and make assumptions or predictions of what's going to happen with Tyler Robinson's trial, but I will say this. We're probably going to get some really good social media clips of this floating around. So be on the lookout for those. If you see a good one and it's entertaining, tag me in it. Do that. At Jester Dooms, pretty much everywhere. Tag me in that shit if it's funny. I'd like to see it. It's a sad world we live in when you have a killer, alleged killer on the stand, and they can't even start the trial without the cameras being in the room. I mean, at what point did somebody say, fuck justice for Charlie Kirk and his loved ones and his family? Where are the cameras? Do you get what I'm saying? I guess that's why I'm so bent out of shape about it. It's like, it's like almost make a martyr situation. You're making a martyr out of this, out of Charlie Kirk. And now you're going to want to put this out everywhere for people to see. And I wonder, Charlie Kirk was a pretty open, pretty straightforward guy. I wonder, what he thinks of this. Because on one hand, I think like with how he lived his life and was out there everywhere and out there on social media, I feel like he'd be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, put it out there. It's fine. Like, let the world see this. Like, let them see how the court system works. Let them see what goes on. And then there's this other part of me that thinks, well, what if he would maybe be singing a little different of a Charlie tune? Like, no, justice needs to prevail. Fuck those cameras. We need to get this show on the road with this trial. Like, the system needs to do its job, cameras or not. Because I also feel like he'd be saying that, So I'm stuck in this middle of ground. Like, where would he be at with this? And then I haven't read anything yet or seen anything mentioning about anything that Erica Kirk has said at all about regards to the cameras being in the courtroom or this being like a televised trial or anything. But I'd love to get her, or I'd love to read something that would talk about what she thinks about it, like if she's for it, if she's against it. Because here's the thing, man, and this is kind of what I go back to with this, is they televise this shit. It's going to be out there forever. So their kids are going to grow up and they're going to see this shit. They're going to be on social media one day and they're going to stumble across videos of their father's killer, alleged killer, sitting in a courtroom trying to defend himself. Now, those kids are so young that these might be some of the childhood memories that stick out that are very traumatizing, and then they're going to be haunted by these things for years to come. Now, on the flip side of that, it's already out there on social media everywhere. You can't escape it. Would it bring more closure to the children knowing that the U.S. government and the court system did their family justice, did their father justice? It's a real hard sell one way or the other. I know if my parent was murdered, I'd hate to be reminded of it every time I got on social media. That would drive me up the fucking wall. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of misinformation in everything. There's a lot of he said, she said bullshit. There's a lot of people that report things incorrectly. And when you're there and you know what happened, or you get the facts, or you talk to somebody straight from the source and it's like, no, that's not what happened. And I don't know why people are saying this. It becomes very nerve-wracking. Okay, I've been there. I've seen, I mean, we've all been there. How many times did you deal with the he said, she said shit at work? Someone said you were late, but you were there. You clocked in early, then you went and took a shit, and then they couldn't find you or something happened. Next thing you know, you got coworkers throwing brooms down. It's like a whole shit shebang. It's just fucking wild. But I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got for you on today's show. Hopefully we'll be back here Friday for another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. If not, we'll definitely be back here on Monday. Producer Scooter, sir, if you would, hit that button.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.